And it's like that. We are live. Another hot Monday. Is it hot? Not really. Kinda. What was the temperature today? It was like 60, I think. It was something like that. Let me check. In Houston, at least. I don't know where y'all live. Well, it was 65, so it was cool. It wasn't too hot. But I'm pissed yet again because it's always a little chilly. Because next week I'm going home for Christmas. And so I'm leaving Houston on the 21st. It never fails. It be cold in Houston, and as soon as it's time to go to St. Louis, it start heating up again. And it's always hot in Houston on Christmas. I've never spent in Houston in Christmas. I will one year maybe, but it's always like 70 or above every year. And I'm in St. Louis in the snow. Or if it ain't snow, just got on a big old coat. So, as you can see by the title, we got a few things we're going to talk about. And now, let me give the preface for this. So, with this, what's going on now? We're gonna speak on that when you get on here. What was I about to say? Yeah. So we got this week, this Monday, and then next Monday, and then the live streams are gonna take a break. PSA will continue. The episodes will continue to end off season 7 up until January 4th, and that'll be the last episode. But we're taking a break from the Mental Mondays because after next week, Monday is on. Christmas is on a Monday. New Year's Eve is on a Monday. I'm gonna be out of time for both days. That ain't why I'm not doing it, but it's just because y'all gonna be busy, so it's like ain't no point to me. But yes, so that's how we doing that, and then this will come back at probably mid-January, and this will come back mid-January, and then we're gonna thug these out every Monday up until season 8, which is looking slated to premiere maybe April, late March, first week of April. That's what I think. I don't know. We're gonna see. But you will still get long form content on the YouTube and the audio for PSA each week, even, while we're not doing the episodes and the interviews. But all right, let's go ahead and get into this today. I'm rambling too much. My boy, what's going on?
What's popping with your happy Monday?
Yes, happy Monday to you. So this is my boy, y'all. Introduce yourself to the people.
What's up, y'all? I go by the name of Phenom, a little bit of everything. I live 1,000 lives, so I've been told. I'm just keep it at that. I don't really know what to say ever. It's just I do a lot. I live life.
Okay, so it dropped 30 degrees from you as he put in the chat, y'all. Y'all can't see it. I can see it. And he just said it dropped 30 degrees from him. And where do you live so the people can know?
I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay. Still got to get to the Carolina. Still ain't been there yet. Heard it's a great time. And
yeah. It's not Houston, but you'll have a good time.
No, for sure. I believe it. Okay, so starting off this episode, I got a quote, and it is from Pastor Keon. And he said, prepare. Stop doing everything at the last minute. When you start to prepare, you will see the stress level go down in your life. So, as a man who's very prepared himself, because I know you are, how do you feel about that?
It's very true. I do things kind of sometimes for the last minute, but I do it with preparation. I don't go into anything blind, I say. I at least know how much energy it should take, time it should take, all things of that nature. But preparation is the key to everything. Without preparing, almost as I'm pretty sure you've heard, you're preparing to fail. So even if you don't prepare 100%, I would say at least prepare 50% of the way and figure out the rest as you're in motion.
For sure. Excuse me. Now, what was I about to ask you? So, all right, I feel the same way about preparation. Sometimes my halfway preparation still be ahead above most people. I'm not gonna lie, with the Mondays and everything going on, these will be, I shout out to my boy Benjamin, who came on the very first episode of the Mental Man Mondays, because I remember I was planning on pushing it back a week. And I remember I said, hey, bro, you think we could do this another week? You can do this next week. And then I said, are you still, I tried to flip it on him. I don't know if you know this. And I said, hey, bro, are you still ready for this week, or do we need to push it back? He said, oh, yeah, I got my calendar cleared out and everything. I'm like, ah.
I was like, that was me too, low key, the last week.
Yeah. So I said, well, and we'll go ahead and do it today. And that was the very first one. So, because, when you do the first one of something, you never know the results. And of course, people, I think, are scared to put out their very first one because they just like, I don't know how this gonna go. I'm gonna have to make changes, but just put it out first, get it done, and then you can go back and make whatever adjustments or changes later. But just have it started. Because once you
100%.
get, and most people, when you at least get it started, you could just keep it going because you already got the vibe going, got the ball rolling.
Exactly.
Now, recapping on last week. So last week's episode featured my girl Vinchelle Saint Dick from. She lives in Boston, I believe, and she is from Haiti. So that episode centered around, young men in the professional space and being our authentic selves in the professional space. So as somebody who's very eccentric and unique, how has you thrived in the workspace in the professional field being who you are without compromising?
I show up 100% who I am. So one of the things, my day job, quote unquote, I'm a college instructor. And so I try to bring as much as my personality to my classes, and it shows. One thing I like to do, I like to open up class with music. Sometimes I have Chief Keef going. Sometimes I have Rick Ross in class playing some Usher, some Cardi. It just depends on how I'm feeling for the day. It may be Bruno Mars. I don't know. I incorporate just like my normal sense of humor into all my lessons, jokes, memes related to what's going on in life. I really just try to be relatable to my students, and it pays off. I get a lot of great feedback from them. One of them even told me that it was the most fun they ever had in class, and so I feel as if when you don't compromise who you are and you just show up authentically, people can feel that. They feel that energy in the room, even if it's virtually. For me, I teach virtually, so they feel it virtually, which is amazing, and it pays off in the long run for sure.
So what do you teach?
Digital marketing.
Okay. How did you get that gig?
Marketing myself. So, as you know, I have my own podcast. So, for those of y'all that don't know, I have my own podcast. I have two of them. Professional speaker, been an athlete for years. I've created my own courses, creating a community at the moment. And so I should put all this type of stuff on my social media. And all this was also on my LinkedIn. And so this company is a tech startup, and they were looking for somebody that had the enthusiasm and tenacity, and also just the experience with speaking and digital marketing to be able to teach students. And so when they came across my profile, they just reached out to me. And so I was just like, hey, as long as I don't have to show up in the classroom, I'm cool with it. Applied for, interviewed, and now I'm here.
Okay. So was it a quick process?
Nah, man. It took it depends on what you consider quick. So it probably took me like a month and a half to get hired, which to some people may be quick, because I do see people are like in interview processes for like 3 to 4 months, which is ridiculous. At this point, you just got to go find somewhere else. I've also been hired some places on the spot. So within the interview. So I was looking for a job, but I wasn't stressing that much. So the month and a half was like kind of relaxing. So it kind of flew by a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Now, did you get a chance to listen to the episode for this past week that we did?
A little bit of it. I was actually doing something for my students
prior to being up
here. I did hear a little bit of it, yes.
Okay, so anything resonate with you from the little bit that you did get a chance to hear? Because I know you didn't get a chance to finish it, which is fine.
The beginning, now I would need to be reminded a little bit what was said, because as soon as I finished listening to that portion, I started eating, because I haven't eaten all day. So some of the stuff went in one ear and out the other. But I remember the part that I was listening, I was like, yeah, that hits home. I want to say there's a difference. I think there was a quote that stood out to me. She said there's a difference between being busy and just like actually like working towards things that you want to do.
Right.
And there's no point of being busy if you're busy with things that you don't enjoy doing.
Right. Because we live in a society where people are like, booked and busy, but busy doing what? You could be busy on the toilet. You could be, I mean, for real, you could be busy trolling.
You're not lying.
You could be busy trolling people on Instagram. So it's just kind of like, what you busy doing? And we need to figure that out. And in the comments, let me know what y'all think about the whole busy thing. What we live in the We live in that society where it's just one or the other. And
You
it's
know
just
what?
like,
I'm gonna have to start saying something different. I'm gonna start saying I have obligations or I have a prior commitment. I'm gonna have to start saying something like that because it hits different. If I say, "Oh, I have a prior commitment," rather than saying I'm busy, like it seems a little bit more serious if you say I have a prior commitment. I'm gonna start saying that. Am I lying? Like, doesn't that seem like you actually got something going on rather than saying I'm because people say I'm busy all the time, and like you said, they could be busy doing anything. So
right.
what
I
is
had a
going on?
friend one time, and this is mean. He might see this. I remember years ago. Look. So he was doing flag football, and I remember I had asked him to do something, and he
Mm-hmm.
got an attitude with me. He was like, I have practice. And I said, and I remember I said it to my friend. I said, insert name. I said, you're not going to the NFL, hang it up. And my friend started laughing so hard, and I felt bad because I'm like, dang, that must have been mean. And I felt bad. But it just pissed me off because I'm like, you can't do that because you have to go to flag football. I'm like,
Hey, did you know that flag football is gonna be in the Olympics though?
I didn't, but I did. So
So,
okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
all right, I'm about to say. So somebody actually. So I worked with somebody about a year and a half ago. She played flag football here in North Carolina, huge, right? She was really good. And so she kept on playing all this type of stuff. And so I had her on my show actually. And then she was like, "Yeah, I want to make Team USA, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Let's like, I can't wait for this to make it to the Olympics." This past summer, she actually made Team USA for like it wasn't the Olympics, obviously, but the World Tournament, and she made the game-winning touchdown. And now next year they're going to have it in the Olympics. So like, it's flag football is becoming seriously popular in America to the point now even some colleges are giving out scholarships for flag football.
Wow, look at me, a booty.
The more you
Wow,
know, like it's growing. So not many people know. Now you know,
no,
and all your audience, they know as well.
for sure, for sure. All right, now let's get into the first topic today. All right, so I saw this on Ball Alert and I thought it was interesting, and I'm gonna read it for you. But while y'all look at the thing, all right. So it says FDA approves gene therapy for sickle cell disease. It says the first treatment. All right. So it says on Friday, federal officials announced the approval of the first gene therapy treatment for sickle cell disease, which affects close to 100,000 people. The advancement is good news for the thousands who have inherited this blood disorder that causes terrible pain, crisis, and early death. They did a type. Need to redo that caption. Since a second similar treatment is expected to get the green light before the new year, USA Today reported. Sickle cell is the most common disease to receive approval by the government for gene therapy treatment. It comes after decades of development and years of approval for therapy for people who have rarer conditions. The therapy will be extremely expensive, nearly $2 million per patient. NBC News reported it will be available only to patients 12 and older who have the most severe form of the disease in the first round. We really have to make sure that it is accessible, says Dr. Rabbi Hannah, a pediatric hematologist oncologist at the Cleveland Clinic, who has previously served on the advisory board for Vertex. This could be an equalizer for people with sickle cell because many patients cannot pursue career options because of the illness. All right, and the rest is on Ball Alert if you want to read the rest, but I mean, we got the gist of it. All right, so let's talk about that. I don't trust it.
I'm stuck on that. It's going to be a minimum of 2 million per person, and it starts at bare minimum 12. First of all, what 13-year-old got 2 million?
First of
Unless
all,
obviously you got to be born into a well-off family. Well, I shouldn't say born because there are streamers now that are getting paid that young.
my thing is, why is that cost $2 million, but COVID was free? The vaccine was free. I'm confused. Why was that one free? And then this one, they were basically they were propaganda to pay you to take it.
Yeah.
They was getting all your favorite rappers to taking their old songs and rapping new songs about getting the vaccine. And it was on every website, CNN, Uber commercials, and Love and Hip Hop people. So now all of a sudden this is out. It ain't mainstream. I mean, I'm sure it might have been on the news a little bit, but I guarantee they're not gonna talk about this for days on end. So I'm not even gonna go through my segments for that one. I'm gonna just say I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust it because I just wouldn't. Would you go get it?
Nah, I don't think I would, especially Nah, I wouldn't do it. I'm not a fan of a lot of the health practices that happen here or the system in America because it shows time and time again that they're just here to make money, hence the 2 million. um, and it makes me wonder about everything that they present us with and how how much it can actually help us because it could be, and I'm not getting into like I would say like a conspiracy theorist type of
We can.
theory, but more so he said we can. But it's just like if you know that somebody is here to make money off you, how much do you expect for them to have the money? I mean, not the money, the medicine actually help you. Whereas if you go overseas where healthcare is free, or maybe they use like natural remedies, people are like, oh yeah, went to the doctor, the hospital for XYZ. I'm good. I haven't gone back since because they actually are helping people. Over here in America, we have no idea what they're doing. That's it.
Exactly.
That's all I have to say. We had no idea what they're doing.
I say it's similar to like getting like alignment with your body. So like if you go to like one of these chain, just being honest, if you go to like a chain, like, and I learned this from experience, if you go to like a chain, like the joint, you ever heard of the joint, right? And you got like
What
the
is that?
neck and like they like the chiropractor.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So they have those all across the country. I feel like you'll get more from going to a local one than going to one where it's all across the country, only because that's a chain. So they got to keep people coming back. And they don't get it twisted. It will help, but it won't fully heal you. It's just kind of like the medicine, kind of like blood pressure medicine and high cholesterol medicine.
Mm.
It keeps you from dying, but it doesn't fix the problem. It's just to help kind of regulate. And I mean,
Go
for
ahead. Go
real.
ahead. I was about to say the imagery that came in my head was it's almost like somebody's drowning and you put them above water just enough so they can start breathing again, and then you just pull them back down before you put them
Yeah.
above water again. That's
Yeah. I
what it
mean,
feels like sometimes.
right. And it's just unfortunate that we aren't taught that. A lot of people just think that the doctors really want to help you. I had a doctor, and I didn't have a doctor. My grandma had a doctor that told her that she didn't have to drink because she don't like drinking water, and said that you didn't have to drink water that was made from the like the water people or something like that. Now, how that sound from a doctor?
A doctor telling you not to drink water.
And you 70% water.
That's what I'm saying. That was the immediate thought that came into my head is we're basically water. Like, how are you going? That's interesting. That's real interesting.
So you need to talk about that to your students and see what they say.
They're going, actually, it's so interesting that you say that because one of the projects we just recently did was working with a nonprofit that focuses on clean water, clean
Oh,
drinking water.
I'm right on the money. Okay.
Go play the lotto.
No, for real. All right. So the next topic we're going to talk about Offset's response to Cardi B. Now, for those that don't know, Cardi B claims that she's single and then claimed that she's been single. But don't take my word for it. I got the video. So we're gonna watch a clip of the video from 9 Mag, and then it's like 3 minutes long. I don't got the whole 3 minutes. We're gonna stop it after about a minute or so. But she already started the conversation, so we can go ahead and just get right in it. All right.
I don't know if y'all been getting clues from me for my live. I mean, I don't know if you guys been getting clues from me for my lives or from my stories when I put some certain music or from my own followings. When it comes for today's events and stuff, I don't know if it's true. I don't think it's true. I don't care to find out because I've been single for a minute now, but I have been afraid to like, not afraid, I just don't know how like to tell the world. But I feel like today has been like a sign. Like I've been the last time I got on live, I kind of wanted you guys to tell you. I kind of wanted to tell you guys, but I didn't know how to tell you. So I was like, I changed my mind. But it has been like this for a minute now, and I just took it as a sign. So mm, I wanna start 2024 like fresh, open. I don't know. I'm curious for a new life, for a new beginning, and yeah, I'm excited. New look, new life, new everything. So I've been wanting to tell you guys for a minute. I don't know how you guys haven't gotten the hint, but it is what it is. I don't know if today what happened today is true or not. I simply don't care because I just been doing me, focusing on my shit. I told you that I've been going so hard for 2024 to go directly as I wanted to. I feel like in 2017, I was single, and that's when I worked the hardest, and that's when I focused the hardest, and that's when I put out my best work. And then I found somebody that I love and I've been with for a minute. I back to that 2018, and mm, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm truly happy. Like
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay. So I played the clip from her, but then, and I'm gonna get into what happened for those that don't know. But Offset responded. Everyone said he responded when he posted a photo dump and said elevation is key. So let's get into the first segment with this situation, which is what does this have to do with mental health? Now, since this is targeted towards picking at the men, you as the we're men, right? So say for instance, God forbid, your fiance, anybody used to date, whatever, gets on live and makes a video like that. Everyone, y'all were publicly dating, so everyone knows y'all was together. How would you feel as a man?
I'm excited.
Okay.
I know that probably wasn't the answer that you were expecting, but I love when people find themselves. I love when people are able to grow. And some people are able to grow within a relationship. Some people are had to be able to grow outside of a relationship in order to find the relationship that they can coast in while still growing at a exponential rate. So it's all about figuring out what is the best for you and the best for you too overall, but at the end, best for you at the end of the day. And you realize that in order for you to be able to grow and to be happy to the fullest, and that means that we should not be together, then that's fine. At the end of the day, personally, I have full confidence in myself, my abilities, that I never want to be able to like if something like that were to happen, like an ex or we break up, that's not the end of my life. Like as much as, of course, I love my fiance, but let's just say we're not going to be like there'll be a day that one of us will not be on earth together. So I'm going to still have to be myself and live. And it's almost like in my mind, kind of like the same concept. Like if somebody breaks up and they want to be able to grow on their own, by all means do that. That's what I want for you, especially if I care for you.
Okay. Well, I think that she didn't bash him, which is good, and so we give her a round of applause for that. But I just feel in that public space when people do stuff like that, and we so used to people dragging people on in that moment. So
Mm.
I still would feel away if it was me and I was him in that space, like you know. At this point, they probably felt like we didn't deal with worse. But it's somebody you was in love with, so it's like y'all been single, and it's just like you know. But for those that don't know, the Blueface baby, Blueface said that Offset was with Krishan, and I saw Blueface's not Blueface, Offset's response talking about some hey man, you need help. And I just think that that's funny because Offset is not really going back and forth with these people. For him to make the post say elevation is key, I thought was good because, well, you know what? Let's not get over my head myself. Let's get into WWID. So, what would I do in this situation? I think he handled it the best. I really don't have a suggestion. I mean, he made that comment to Blueface. I mean, he could have ignored that, and he might have, but he did. He just dropped the photo dump after Cardi B said what she said, and I mean, we will never know fully if he did it on to be petty, because some people, when they know people are talking about them and they'll intentionally make a post to show like they ain't feeling no way, even though they do, but they posting like they not.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never really know. But I mean, he didn't respond, and I mean, what was the response to? What was to respond to? What was he supposed to say?
So how are you responding if, let's just say, you're Offset in this situation? I'm kind of shifting over to the Cardi and Offset situation and not the Blueface. But if you're Offset within that dynamic and you see her post that video, how are you responding?
I wouldn't respond back publicly. I would actually, knowing me, especially at this point in my life, I would probably try to get off social media just so I wouldn't respond and keep seeing it, because I know the tabloids are gonna pick up on it. They're gonna repost it. They're gonna be like, "Oh, what's she talking about? Oh, she's talking about Offset. Offset, you see this?" So every time you type your name, that's gonna pop up. So it's like, what in that situation? I wouldn't respond, because it's like, what would I say? What would you say to that? Because, like I said, she didn't even attack him. We've seen the ones we know, which we covered a few weeks ago, where we talked about Megan when she made the diss at Party, and he made a song about it, and he caught hell for that. But I mean, I wouldn't respond in that situation. If anything, watch this. I might not respond publicly, but I might send a text. Like, why
I can
would you?
understand that.
Like,
I
why
think
you?
it also I think it depends also on the reason why the breakup happened, and only the two of them know that. So if it was a mutual breakup, then I could probably respond publicly, maybe just like a comment under the post, wishing you the best. Just say something like that, keep it pushing. Maybe even send a text message. But if it was something shiesty, and I know that as a person that's part of the duo, no, I'm just going to keep it pushing. I'm not going to say nothing.
All right, next segment. WWJD, what would Jesus do? So, in this situation, I don't believe he would respond. And when I say Jesus, it's not me. I mean, of course, we can reference him too, but I really believe like what ethically and the morally correct and morally thing, the best thing to do morally. I always get tongue tied when I say that part. I think that morally, again, you wouldn't respond back publicly. You might send a text, but then in the same time, it's like, why? Because everyone's grieving process is different. And to me, if y'all broke up and you were sending the text, that means you still care.
Does it?
Huh?
Are you sure?
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
What you think?
It definitely depends on what's sent in the text, but just because you send a text doesn't mean you care.
Okay.
Like, let's just say if people are probably going to be like, yeah, well, that means you care. Let's just say, like, for me personally, right? I always wish positivity on people and success. I may not even know you, but I want to wish that for you. I mean, I care about you, but I want you to, have positivity, because I don't want to see anybody, have negativity and just like all that sadness or whatever may be around them. So I mean, I care, but I still wish you the best. And that may be, again, like I said on the post, just quick comment or say that in quick text. I mean, I care, but I wish you the best. So that doesn't necessarily mean that person may care.
Now, he didn't do this. This is a hypothetical.
All right.
What if you were commenting on the post a heart? Would it have been petty? No.
that just leaves so much up for assumption.
I'm glad he did.
And that almost is, I feel like something with that level, because it's emoji, there's nothing in emojis. It would be better off just to say nothing.
Yeah.
Because there's so much a person can interpret from that. And that's messy.
All right, WSMD, what should men do? So in this situation, my suggestion would be to let women women. And she was venting. She was, I'm single. Ooh, I ain't even need to respond. Ain't no point in going back and forth responding to that, because in them situations, unfortunately, even though that, like I said again, I applaud her on that, because I feel like that was a good, post, as far as it wasn't, turning that man down. But even if it was, unfortunately, it's like when you respond to certain things, I feel like it's one of those, it just depends on the circumstance. It's like thin line, but most cases you just gotta let them women have it, because you never gonna win. You never gonna win.
Yeah.
Now, unless somebody's saying you like kidnapping children or something like that, you might need to, hey, now wait a minute, hold on. But
Yeah, gotta draw a line on that one.
yeah, so what would you suggest men do in that situation? Adding on to what I said, or something totally different?
I'm going to keep on going back to the context. I mean, the comment of it depends on the situation, and only you know your situation the best. So it's going to vary from, dynamic to dynamic. If I'm talking about just like a general like piece of advice, I would say give it not a month, at least a week before you say something.
Yeah.
And if I were to say something, I would keep it short, just like 1 to 2 sentences. Like, hey, saw your video on social media. No hard feelings over here. Glad that you are looking to grow in 2024, and I wish you the best. That's it. Peace, love, and positivity. Keep pushing.
All right, good stuff. All right, y'all. So that's with 32 some minutes in. Okay, we got one more thing we're gonna talk about. Although the video is short, it's gonna bring about a lot of dialogue, because I'm bringing up a
All
lot of
right.
different things that happen. So I'm gonna just play the clip, and then I want you. I can't wait to hear your take on this. All right.
Sexual, yeah. Am I everything you need? You better rock your body now, everybody.
Okay, so from the video, we see that Kanye West is back out of hiding. He was in hiding for a very long time, and now he back with a new sample, and I'm sure that song is gonna go crazy, because who would think to use that song? But of course, Backstreet's back, Kanye's back. That just clicked. That didn't even click until now, honestly. Let's get into it. What does this have to do with mental health? So now, as we all know, with Kanye West, his mental health has never been in the best shape. He has been dragged for so many different reasons. He's openly stated that he never really recovered from when his mama died. And we see he never really got the full help that he needed. Now he's coming back. He had his gospel run, which everyone thinks was fake. I don't think it was fake. I really believe that he's like most people who it's a struggle. I had a friend that was going in on him real bad one day. And I said, if someone put a camera and followed your life, I guarantee you they will be saying you was a contradiction too. Now, I don't think that everyone who has the Christian faith is a contradiction, because there's a lot of people that aren't. But with him, it's just that you can see him. He was struggling. And spiritually, anybody with spiritual eyes, can see that he definitely has something on him. So mental health wise, how do you feel about I ain't gonna say mental health wise, but how do you feel about Kanye West in general? Just your personal opinion.
That is a broad and loaded question. If we're referring to music,
we're gonna do music first and then him.
Okay. I enjoy his music. 808s and Um, I love the work that he did with the Sunday service choir, Jesus King. I listened to that album probably like every day on the way to work for like a year and a half straight, and I'll still put it on now. I think as an artist, he's very talented. As a person, it's gonna be odd, but I think he's really authentic. Outspoken. I definitely think there are a lot of things with him that I don't personally maybe agree with. But I think he's so authentic that people hate it. And if I'm being honest, if I'm digging a hole right now, I would say that I don't think he's around anymore. I think that ever since he like went off the grid, Ghost, the person that we were seeing on social media and paparazzi did not look like Kanye. Like he just simply did not look like him. So Kanye's bad guy. I don't know. I don't think he is. I think that's that. I don't know. So we'll see.
Oh man. I was thinking that too. I ain't gonna lie. That was on
Which
the
part? Which part?
really everything you said. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't, I wouldn't. And it's unfortunate because if that is the case, and he is no longer in the land of the living, or he's in a dungeon somewhere, um, people say that's conspiracy theory, but it's really not. And I think that if that's the case, then it's unfortunate, but at least he was able to tell everything he wanted to tell. I do remember those videos. He was like, "Look, they're texting me saying you better be
Mhm.
quiet. And you want to see your kids." You know what I'm saying? So they texted him like, "Chill out," and he wouldn't chill out. He wasn't gonna stop. So I'm interested to see what this one is going to do. I do believe that the whole gospel thing, I believe it was real. I believe that he was really on that path, and he just, unfortunately, it was too many deals he had already made, and it was like you too deep in, or
Mhm.
you in too deep, like Makai Fife, like he said, and like he said, and I don't like remix, and he said I was in too deep, like Makai Fife. So I think that, unfortunately, it's people gonna be excited, and I'm part of me is excited, but part of me like, I don't know.
I think this is a great opportunity to just make everybody listening to this or watching this aware that whenever you see somebody looking like they are crying for help on social media or anything in that nature, take it a step further and be that person to go listen. Because a lot of times people are crying for help publicly because they cannot do it privately. And that's why they're resulting to the public. And it's making them look crazy. And then it's when it's too late, when everybody notices. I even had somebody that I grew up with recently. They were making public cries, and it just looked like they were just talking crazy on social media. Turns out they were really going through stuff. And so, we're all human at the end of the day. So, whatever, we're dealing with on the level of life that we're living right now, I can only imagine with somebody that, like you were saying, is having somebody followed around with, thousands of cameras, hundreds of cameras every single week, is going through, because that's just the life of a celebrity. You have no private life at all.
Right, absolutely. Now, so moving on with this conversation with Kanye, let's, for just for the episode purposes. So he back. Apparently, he has an album coming out with Ty Dolla Signs, and it's probably gonna be slamming. But as far as this conversation goes with Kanye West, so do you agree with his public meltdowns?
I never agree with the public meltdown. I don't think that a person has a public meltdown because they want to.
Mm. Nice transition to what would I do in this situation? So in the situation with Kanye, because obviously we just kind of really talk about him being back, and we just kind of discussing him just in general as a person, as a public figure, as an artist, as a human. And in his situation, his mental health has, he has struggles with his mental health. That's clear. So we cannot talk about what, in certain instances, we can't say what we would do. But with him as a person, I think that everything he says is he has the right. He has the right views. It's just the wrong approach. And obviously, we know he's probably felt like the caged bird, like he couldn't talk for so long. So finally, we got a chance to talk. I'm saying everything I want to say. I think that in his situation, again, we cannot change what he did, and I'm not condemning him. But what I am saying is, in that situation, you learn from the mistakes of others. And in his situation, we cannot allow mental health to get that bad to where we saying all these things, and then we saying it's just looking all over the place. So we look like the crazy person. If he would have, in an ideal world, if he had the right, if he was in the right mental state, if he could have mentally stable, if he could have said it in a way that was effective, like put it in a song, made a show, like he was too creative to where he could have said everything he wanted to say in such a creative way. That's what I believe. You get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying?
I 100% understand what you're saying. But what if I believe that artists do that all the time and people just take it for as the art it is and they're not fully grasping the art itself. Like there are so many artists that what they're singing, what they're rapping, those are things that they've been through. And people will sing along with them, but not realize that that is seriously like, yes, I am heartbroken right now. I'm dealing with demons inside of me, but they're singing right along with them.
Right. And so to piggyback off that, I agree with that too. But at the same time, there's always a person with the eye to see and the ear to hear. For instance, when those people who are putting these evil things in their music and in their videos and in their TV shows that you think, oh, it's just art. And now you over here running crazy and you got a demon following you around and you don't know where it came from. So I think, so my point to that is the message will even go past the conscious mind. It's just gonna speak to the subconscious. So I think in that case, even with what you do, you have to be cognizant and just say, like, you know what, it might go over a lot of people's head, but it's speaking to their subconscious. And even though, and the people who get it, they're gonna get it. You get what I'm saying? So I agree with what you're saying, but I think that we have to get to the point where we say, you know what, I'm gonna put it out like this, and it's gonna get to what it's gonna get to. As I discussed with him off air, that y'all won't see until a later date, I'm gonna be having a podcast topic that I believe is gonna ruffle feathers, but it needs to be a conversation. I just do, and I'm gonna touch on that when we get off because I want to add something else I just thought about. All right. All right. Again, WWJD, what would Jesus do? Morally, what would be the best thing to do in this situation? Morally, I think that if we just take his, Backstreet Back sample, I think that's the best thing to do in this situation morally, because you would drag an attack, even though we can argue whether, but you would drag, attack, criticize, they was on a manhunt against you, and you come back like ain't nothing happened. If we're not looking at it in too deep, we're just looking at the facade. If it is a facade, allegedly, got to throw that out there. But if we're just looking at what it is for face value, they didn't attack you, tried to destroy you, and you come back in all white, rebirth, which could be symbolic. If you know, you know. But could be symbolic. But I think even if it's not, if it was one of us and it happened to us and we came back like on some bossed up, like, look at me now, I ain't responding none of y'all, I ain't go back and forth with y'all, I'm letting the hits and the work speak for itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anything you want to add to that before we move to the final part?
No, actually, no. I think you summed it up. No.
Okay, because see, we speaking in code, and again, who get it, get it. All right. So, last segment. What should men do in this situation? As I've been reading the Bible lately, I've been seeing different instances where Jesus actually did respond to people. He didn't just act mute in every occasion like people think. Now, he wasn't cussing people out, where y'all be like, I'm the cussing pastor. That's not okay. But he definitely responded to people in instances that he needed to respond. And there are ways you can respond. In this situation, again, I think that again, with all his responses, just even throughout the years, it was his responses were justified. It was just the wrong timing and the wrong way to go about it. And I think that in this situation, that we just going off this one alone with him coming back, I think that that was the best response. Let the work respond for be the voice. And in his case, he done went back and forth with y'all enough. So he don't need to keep doing that. You know what I mean? You gotta learn from your mistakes. I didn't learn a long time ago. I didn't went back and forth with people on social media. Them days is over. I'm excited now. I'm gonna reach out or DM you and say, hey, let's get on the podcast and talk about it. Cause I'm like, let's get a check for it. Let's not just do this just to be doing this. Cause I just feel like if I'm gonna go through something, let me at least get paid for it. Pay me for my pain.
Facts. Pay me for my time. I feel that.
Anything else you want to add to that? What do you think men should do or anything like that?
Let your actions speak.
Yeah.
I think in general, we do way too much talking. And if you want to be able to prove a point, just put in the work for it and just let your actions speak for it. Because when you start talking too much, then you start to dig yourself into a hole. You start to put a spotlight on yourself, expectations, all things in that nature. And you would rather have your work do that for you rather than your mouth. Because at the end of the day, if you don't say anything, the work will be able to back up everything that you said, or the work, it will be able to back up what has been produced. But if you are just, talking, you go, oh yeah, I'm back, blah, blah, blah. I can't wait to show y'all what, blah, blah, blah. Y'all were talking about me before, XYZ. I've been in the lab for the last 6 months, blah, blah, blah. Just put it out. Because in reality, nobody's paying attention. Right. Nobody's it's sad and tough to say, but nobody's really checking for you.
Yeah.
Like there are a very small amount of people that are really looking out for you. And those are the people that you should keep in your circle. And those are the people that you do not have to post for on social media. Let's be real. Like those are people you don't have to post and flaunt for on social media. So just let your actions speak louder than your words. And if you can, don't say anything at all. Just show up.
For sure, just show up. Just show up. All right, so good stuff, y'all. We had a great episode. I didn't know how this episode was gonna go. Last week I actually canceled because the stuff going on I didn't really think was worth talking about. So this week it was kind of not a reach, but it ended up working out because I think we had good dialogue here, and I think
for sure.
So that worked out with that. All right, so upcoming this week. So Thursday, we have another great episode. The vlog, if you haven't watched my Thanksgiving vlog, please go watch it. It's great. It's 50 minutes long. I'll never do another vlog that long again. That's ridiculous. But it took too long to edit. It took too long to edit, and it's too much. So I'm going to try to keep them around 30 or less. But if you haven't checked it out, go check that out. It's good stuff. It's funny. It's behind the scenes. I went to 4 different Friendsgivings. Got 4 different Friendsgivings. The fits was fitting. One of them wasn't. And I'll let you figure out which one wasn't. And yeah, so that was great. And yeah, good stuff. Also, so Thursday's episode there's gonna be great featuring Michael O'Brien. And that's going to be a great interview. Can't wait for y'all to see that. Also, Thursday is the beginning of the 12 days of Vlogmas that I'll be doing on YouTube, and it'll be on TikTok too. And every day, I haven't decided. I'm thinking it's going to be noon or 3 o'clock. I'm going to tell you one thing I want for Christmas every single day. I'm going to give a rant as to why I want that. All right. So make sure you tune into that. And that's pretty much it. Anything else you want to plug before we go today? Also, y'all, we got to get him on the episode because he still hasn't had an actual interview on my show yet. That's crazy. I've known you this long. But anything else you want to add or say to pub, whatever else you got going on?
Actually, I guess so. I'm starting a community for aspiring creators and already content creators. That could be a podcaster, authors, bloggers, anything like that. Just if you consider yourself a creator, you're that person. To help them get over the mental limitations of like imposter syndrome, perfectionism, and stuff like that, just DM me on Instagram, Phenom Speaks. Phenom like phenomenal, speak as a speaker, Phenom Speaks. And I'm launching it at the end of the month. So yeah, show up. We're going to start a nice little community, get around like-minded people, and grow together.
All right, good stuff. Also, I got to put one more thing before we go. The ghostwriting service now has the premium package for podcasters, podcast companies looking for someone to ghostwrite their podcast scripts. It's a lot to go in these podcast scripts, especially in the wellness and mental health space, because you need the research, you need the, we can get with me, we can get you try to figure out your tone, what you looking to, how you looking to sound, get you some segments going, develop some consistency in the script, and of course I'll do the script for you. And so get with PSA, the Ghostwriter Solution, and get with those premium for the premium package. It's 4 scripts for a month, and I'll get into that and all of what the scripts will come with. I think up to 2,000 words, and of course there are add-ons and things like that. All right, so that is it this week for this is for the night. Excuse me, y'all tune in this week. Is going to be a good one. And to the vlog, Miss Too, so you can see what you can get me. We're doing it all the way up until Christmas Day, so every day. All right, PSA sign out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And I love us for real.